All right, what's going on, everybody? Robbie here once again. And before we begin, give me a big hello in the chat to make sure you guys can hear me just fine. And guys, are you excited? Today, we have finally arrived. The finish line is in sight, and we are in week number 6 of the 6 week to success training, guys. What an awesome journey it's been. What an amazing experience it's been. And I'm so grateful to have everybody here once again for another awesome training together. I love the fact that you guys are here every single week for these trainings. You're committed to it. You're dedicated to it. And I love that. I see everybody saying hello. Awesome. Hello. Really excited to have you guys here today because, last week we talked about launching your campaign. And hopefully, let me know actually in the chat if you guys did that. Did you launch your campaign? Did you get that done? If you did, awesome. Because today we're going to be going over something, two things really, being able to analyze our data and then being able to scale when we are able to want to scale. So really important, guys, that we're able to do that. And so we're going to go over that today. A couple updates in terms of analyzing data compared to the last 6 weeks of success we did over a year ago. Is now we have some amazing software to basically automate a lot of that for you. So you can look at it at a quick glance and actually know what to do, which is pretty awesome. So we're going to go over all that in just a moment here, guys. Before we go any further, I want to introduce once again my partner in crime here for the 6 week success, Coach Daz. Hey, Daz, you there?
Hey, guys. Yes, I'm here.
Awesome.
Can you believe we're finally here? We're on 6 weeks, and that's it. And I'm hoping, like we had our talk last week at the end of week 5, I hope you guys got all your campaigns up. Hopefully, not hopefully, I'm sure some of you got sales. You should have if you followed the deal. Your numbers look good, and you're starting to get those first sales. How about we do this? The guys that have got the campaigns up and running, how many of you had a sale? Put a 1 in there if you had a sale. Let me see, just something. I don't care if it's $20, $30, a little tiny thing, whatever. You got a sale. You did it. You made something. Okay, cool. I got a few saying, no, I get it. But this is initial time. But the ones that said with the ones, great job, guys. Great job. Yeah, take action. Do it. So now we're going to go over exactly what we're going to need to do to take this stuff to the next level, analyze the data, and scale. This is what it's all about. As a coach, this is what everybody always asks me. The biggest thing they're into, how do we scale? What do we do? Yeah. That's what we're going to go over right now.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. And so, last week, you know the drill, guys. We covered launching your campaign, which is getting it started, getting off the ground, launching it, right? That's what launching is all about, right? And your homework, and obviously we just asked you guys, did you do the homework, which was to launch your campaign, right? It was one piece of homework, but it's a very vital piece of homework. And it's so important that you actually get it done because if you don't launch your campaign, you cannot make any money, right? So really important to do that, guys. So what we're going to cover, guys, is a few things here. Is the secret to consistent ad performance. We're going to talk about how to use data to scale. And we're going to show you how to scale some campaigns. We're also going to go over a lot of other things as well in terms of how to analyze your data, how to scale up, and everything like that. And so you can see, guys, this highlight has moved down each and every week, and now we finally arrived at week number 6, which is analyzing data, scaling, and much more, guys, which is going to be awesome. So we're going to be going over a few things here today. And obviously, one of those things we're talking about is tracking and data conversion API. Okay, so let's talk about this real quick here. So tracking is very, very important. All right, I would say it is probably one of the most important things you can do. Okay, probably the most important thing, right? Because if you are running, say, multiple different ad sets in a campaign, which you will be, right? Because remember when I teach you guys, and what Dad showed you is you're going to run multiple different ad sets in a campaign, at least 6, right? And you want to know which ones are getting you the sales and which ones are kind of not carrying their weight, right? And so we want to know which ones are doing well and which ones aren't. And we want to know which ones are getting sales so that way we can put more money into the ones that are good and obviously turn off the ones that are bad, right? And like I said, if you're running 6 ad sets and you only get a sale on one of them, how do you know which one got you the sale, right? Which is so important. And Daz, I'm sure you've been in similar situations where I have, where before I really kind of got my tracking dialed in, there'd be a lot of times where I would see sales and I'd be like, oh my gosh, like I don't know which ad set got me the sale, and that was so frustrating. It was almost like I was excited, but I was sad at the same time because
it's
I didn't know how to sell. Yeah, exactly.
The phantom sale. And you look through your data and you try and find it, and you look through every little reporting column you can in Facebook,
Yeah.
and you look at it in ClickBank, and for some reason you cannot find where the sale came from. Now, don't get me wrong, it's still good money. The money's there, but the problem is if this hot ad set is generating these sales, you can't tell where that sale came from. How do you know which ad set it is? And maybe you can duplicate it. Maybe you can start scaling it. You don't. And it's very, very frustrating as a marketer when that comes up. It is for the guys that know what they're doing and we know how to scale. We go, dang it. How can we scale if we can't see where it comes from? I agree.
100%. I mean, and guys, that's so important. And I see so many people, they try to rush through, their campaign setup. And one of the things they neglect is setting up their tracking correctly and everything. And you don't want to miss that step, guys, because, I know we get in a hurry to launch our campaigns and everything, but, the moment you launch your campaign and you're not able to track your ads, it doesn't matter. You're not going to be able to do anything with that campaign. You're not going to be able to scale it because you just don't know where those sales are coming from, and you don't have accurate data to make accurate decisions. Okay, so really, really important. Make sure you take that time to, make sure your tracking is correct. Make sure you're set up correctly, right? That's going to make a big difference in your long-term success because if you don't do it the first time, you're going to have to redo it and do it anyway. So just do it the first time and do it right. Okay, does that make sense, guys? Awesome, cool. And so, there's really kind of two ways to track, right? There's two main ways to track nowadays. I think the days of, kind of sending, the pixel to the vendor is kind of over, just because of with the way iOS is now, the way things have changed a bit. So really, guys, a big update as far as tracking. You're not going to be sending your pixel to the vendor anymore. There's really two ways you'll do it, okay? And the first one we covered a couple of weeks ago, right? And if you missed that, just go into the guide section of the Facebook group where the recording was. I believe it was week 2 or 3.
And it was week 3 was that one, Robert.
Okay. Yeah, week 3 is what we covered, which was setting up your Facebook conversion API and ClickBank, right? And setting up your aggregated events as well. So make sure you guys watch that. If you have to watch it a couple times, totally fine, because it is a little bit confusing, but once you do it, it's pretty straightforward. And it's important you do that because if you don't set it up like that, your purchase events will not fire back into Facebook. And that's bad because you want that to fire back in so we can make decisions off of that, right? Now, obviously, that's one way to get set up and ready to rock and roll with your campaigns, right? So make sure you guys watch that. We're not going to go over it again just because it's already in. Daz did an awesome job a couple weeks ago on it. So make sure you guys go back and watch that for sure. Okay, so that's the first way. Obviously that way is obviously free to do. You don't have to cost you any money. The other option, which is, a lot of people are using this more and more, including myself. And one of the reasons why is because I believe in this so much that I actually became an owner in it as well. And so in a tracking platform called Cometly, right? And I know a lot of you have heard about Cometly and seen that, how awesome it is. You guys know who Grant and Matt is. They're coaches in the Avengers Mastermind, the mastermind we have here at Commission Hero. And they put together this awesome platform called Cometly, right? And Cometly is just, it's so cool, right? And not just cool because it looks cool. It's cool because of the way you're able to automate everything in terms of your tracking, your decisions and everything like that, right? Now, Grant and Matt, I'm sure they told you the story before, maybe heard the story before, but essentially what happened was they were, they had a lot of success with Commission Hero, scaling up their campaigns, and they were running from many, many accounts. And because of that, they would have to use all these different spreadsheets, right? Just crazy amounts of spreadsheets. And it got to the point where they just were spending hours and hours per day filling in their spreadsheets because they had to track their ads to make decisions. And finally, they got to the point where this is crazy. We should just build our own kind of platform, right? Because if we can automate this process, we'll save hours and hours a week. We'll get the same amount of data and we'll get more accurate data. And then we can actually have a life as opposed to just entering spreadsheets. And so they put together this platform called Cometly, and it is unbelievable, right? And so the reason why, when I first saw this, I was like, wow, this is amazing. They gave me a tour here and I was blown away by it, right? And now pretty much everyone uses it. I know all the coaches use it. Daz uses it now. And it really is an awesome software, right? Daz, anything you want to add to that?
Oh my God, no, it is awesome. I cannot go on enough. Okay, so number one, there's different tracking platforms out there, right, to choose from. However, Grant and Matt, because they were part of this, and trust me, like Robbie says, he's talking about those spreadsheets they had.
Yep.
I used the spreadsheets. They gave them to me, and I said, I don't have enough time for this. It drove me nuts. I'm going, this takes me hours. I'm going through all my accounts because, as you guys know, I do big numbers. So I have a lot of accounts, and I'm scaling all the time. And I'm going, no, this is too much work. There has to be an easier way. Then these guys got together and did all this here. Now, I've seen other platforms, and I've been on other platforms. But when I saw this, the one thing I got to give them, guys, is this was designed exactly for Commission Hero.
Yep.
I mean, it is Robbie's deal, and Robbie, that's why I know he went in on it, because I'm thinking to myself, this is great, because the data that I normally have to take from ClickBank and then analyze with Facebook and put all the data together on these spreadsheets, or the ones that I want, I have to filter out the data that I don't want.
Yep.
With this software, every single column, the things that I'm interested in are in this software. So it's in one hub that shows you everything. And it's absolutely mind blowing. I mean, it's a game changer. For speed, for everything. It is. If you're like me, guys, and I mean, like I said, if you have 3 accounts or you have 100 accounts, it doesn't matter. It's a game changer. So trust me, this is, I knew it when they pulled it in. I said, oh, great. They've taken away all the columns we don't need, all this fluff that we don't need to look at. It's all here. And now I look at all my data in this platform. Everything is there for me. So it's awesome.
Yeah, it really is. And I'm going to give you guys a sneak peek inside of a Commently account, one of my demo accounts I have. And it really is awesome, because I've used other tracking platforms out there. And there's a lot out there, but the problem is most of them is they're developed or created by developers. So, they work, but they're very clunky. They're hard to set up. They're not user friendly at all. And so that's completely opposite with Commently, because Commently was designed by Grant and Matt and their team, and it was built by marketers, right? So you can see just right out the gate. I mean, just looking at the screen right here, how clean it is, right? And so let me actually show you inside of a Commently account right now. And so this is a demo account, but let me show you what it looks like here, right? And so you can see at first glance, guys. I mean, look at this. So overview, like at quick glance, I can see the amount spent. I can see the refunds that came in. I can see the net profit, the ROI. Gross revenue, right? I can see my breakdown, which is very native to how ClickBank looks like, right? So you can see your daily, trend in terms of gross revenue, how it trends on the line there, right? Which is really cool. You can see your active ad accounts. You can see your estimated budget for the day as well. You have your top performers, so it'll tell you, hey, this account's doing good, this account's doing good, all this stuff right here. And then also you can see here where it says your daily breakdown. This is actually brand new. They just built out these brand new tables. And so you can see your net profit rate at a glance and your return on investment. And I love this because, it's very color coded, which is awesome, because green tells me, hey, I'm making money on this thing, keep it going or scale it up, right? Red, not making money, probably want to pause it or kill it, right? And so that's something to keep in mind. Just from the dashboard, very, very user-friendly right there, okay? From here, you can go and break down by ad accounts. You want to break down by ad accounts. So now when you do that, one of the things I love about Commently is, first of all, how it looks like Facebook. I mean, guys.
Exactly. That's what I was just going to say, Robbie. I was just going to say that. They did it exactly. You see the 3 tabs? Campaign, ad sets, ad.
Yep.
Right?
Awesome. And it's for me, that's one of the best things about this platform, is because I don't have to get used to another layout, right? Because I'm in Facebook, I feel like I'm still in Facebook, and they've made it even better because they've also added some awesome tables here. For example, it calculates your landing page click-through rate for you. It calculates your hops for you. It calculates your order form impressions, because it feeds all that data. ClickBank is reporting all this data back into Commently, which allows you to have even more success, right? It goes on and on. And here's what's pretty cool too. They have their net profit trend. So you can actually see on a trend how these campaigns are doing, right? You can see your return on investment, right? And so you can go down to the ad set level if you want to go to the ad set level, and it looks just like Facebook ad level, same thing, right? And so that's why this is so powerful, guys, because you can see how responsive it is. I mean, I can go to any account and just in a couple seconds, boom, 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 we get everything we need there, which is huge, right? And so that is that section there. Now, if I go into this section, we got our reporting daily breakdown. And so you can see on a daily breakdown standpoint, like what you have for all your stuff here, right? So you can see your the dates of things that were happening. You can see the amount spent. You can see the click-through rate, order form impressions, everything like that. It's all here for you guys inside of Cometly, which is really, really cool. Now, the other thing they have as well is they have their, let me go ahead and click on this. They have some more breakdowns as well. So that's your daily breakdown there as well. Order form impressions, we just talked about that. They also have another section here where they report the ad sets. Okay, so you can actually see all the ad sets going on here. And then you can also search by different up and down here. So which ones works best, which one works least from there. So you can populate based on that. They also have, what else do they have here? They have a ton of other stuff here. They have all their spend analysis, right? So they have a whole spend analysis for you guys as well. And then they have in here, this is basically where you would have your integrations. So you set up your ClickBank API stuff. Obviously, do not touch that. It's the danger zone, right? They also have everything in here for your Cometly, information here for setting up your tracking. The other amazing thing that they have as well that they added to Cometly is their Teams feature, which is really cool because with the Teams feature, you are able to basically use as many profiles, up to 25 profiles on a account, right? So if you're running from multiple profiles, perfect. You can do that. It'll all track inside of Cometly, which is awesome, right? And so I want to give you an inside look into that, guys, because when it comes to analyzing data, I mean, does it get any easier than this? I mean, you just look at the data and you're like, oh my gosh, this is working, this is not working, kill this, scale that, it really is that simple, guys. And so I see everyone in here saying, oh my gosh, this is awesome. Yeah, people are loving it. Yeah, that's why I wanted to share that with you guys because, it takes the guesswork out of stuff where it's like, man, should I scale this up? Should I not scale this up? I mean, if it's green, then go for it, right? Green means go. If it's red, you're not going to scale it up, and that's a big kind of advantage of what we're teaching here, guys, and with this software, which is Cometly, right? And I'll show you guys later on how to get started. If you actually go to cometly.com/Robbie, you can get started with a 14-day trial to Cometly, which is pretty cool, and then you can test it out, and then get set up, and then get ready to rock and roll, which is pretty cool. So awesome. Let's see. Anything you want to add to that, Daz?
Yeah, you know what? I like that fact that you said when you talk about when they brought the new team feature, right? Because that was the biggest thing. Because as you guys know, I scale a lot of ads, right? My numbers are crazy. I have a lot of accounts, and one profile is not going to do it for me. I have a bunch of different profiles and BMs underneath, like that's the setup for success I showed you guys on week 1, right? Yep. So they brought this feature out because they know what we do. So they brought it out, implemented it. Now I can put all my profiles in there. I can bring all my business managers in, and the control is unbelievable. So the data comes in. Facebook is so inconsistent. I'm just telling you now, right? So it's so inconsistent in the ads manager with Facebook, being the fact of the iOS 14 and, the different, the conversion API we're setting up and all this other stuff. So you're not getting the data sometimes that you really need to get, right? So this platform ensures that you get all the data that you need. And you can, it doesn't matter if you're a small guy or big guy, this thing is amazing. I'm really, really impressed with what they did. And I love the fact, like I say, I go on and on and on about getting the, order form impressions and what's my conversion rate from the order form impression, how's my landing pages doing that day. All of the data in one place. Before we were busting out a calculator and using spreadsheets to get that. So it's a game changer, a total game changer. That's all I can say.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I agree. I think it's, they knocked it out of the park with this and they're adding some more stuff as we go along, which is awesome. So cool. So I wanted to share that with you guys as well. And I see a lot of questions about Cometly and everything, guys. I'll post a link in the chat there for you guys to get started on that. Don't worry. Just go to cometly.com/Robbie to get started with a 14-day trial there. Okay. So we talked about, and plus, the thing is too, like there's a lot of ways to analyze data. We talked about this before where, when you let an ad set run, let it run 48 hours, don't touch it. If you have to let it run a little bit longer, that's fine. But, with Cometly, you really kind of eliminates a lot of that guesswork, right? Because now you're going to let it go and you're going to react to the data that you see inside of Cometly, right? So just something to keep in mind there, right? So let's go into, kind of the secret to structure and setting up your campaigns for scaling, right? And so More often than not, when someone goes to launch their ads from one ad account and they start seeing success, sometimes what happens is like inconsistency happens, right? Where you have a campaign that's working, you have an account that's working, and then all of a sudden it stops working, right? And so, or on the flip side, you have an account that you're scaling up, you're having consistent success, but after a while it dies down and it becomes inconsistent, right? And so one of the things I always and Daz, I'm sure you've seen this question too, where we have a lot of people, they'll say like, Robbie, like I'm having a couple $1,000 days in a row, but then I have some bad days and I'm spending $400 a day. How do I get better, more consistent results? and a lot of it times it's like, well, you have to spread out a little bit. You have to be more wide with your with your stuff, because $400 a day doesn't really mean anything to me, right? It means like how many ad sets is that? How many ad sets do you have that you're targeting, right? So it really depends on those things as well. And so we're going to kind of go over that today, because I really want to talk about that, like, because honestly, like volatility, up and down performance of an individual ad account is more often than not very high. Very similar to like if you have one ad set, right? Say you have an ad set that's performing really well and you are scaling it vertically. Well, guess what happens? You may have some days where it doesn't do that good, right? Because it's only one ad set, right? And so it's really important that that's why I'm a big fan of duplicating those ad sets and getting more, because the more you have, the more winners you have, the more consistency you'll have as well. Because if one has a bad day, you'll have two or three that'll pick up the slack, so to speak, right? And so that's really important, guys. And so for me, I think it's better to have like kind of a decentralized type of structure with your setup here. So typically, like we were talking about, right, is like you have your business manager. So Daz, in the previous weeks, we walked you through getting your business manager set up, and then you're going to start running in an account, right? So we showed you how to set up an account last week and running your campaigns. Once you have a winning campaign, we want to build it out into another account, right? And then once we do that, we want to build it out into another account, right? And then what we want to do is we want to get to the point where eventually we're running from multiple business managers with multiple accounts within those business managers, right? And I think that's really the winning solution, not only just for longevity, but also for consistency, right? And I think that, Daz, wouldn't you agree? Like running from multiple profiles, business managers, accounts is really important for consistency.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because you also got to think, don't keep your eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
And so this is the truth here. So some people can fixate so much on one business manager and try and go down and down and down and down, but they're not spreading. They're not going horizontally across, right? Because let's say one day, hey, the Facebook boogeyman comes along and said, boom, disable the whole account.
Yep.
All of a sudden, you're there, nothing. You're just sitting there. There's just crickets. There's nothing going on. And you're scrambling to try and keep your revenue up by going to the other business managers. Well, guess what, guys? You should have already been there.
Yep.
You should have already been there. You can't get complacent, right? Being in the same business manager all the way down and not doing your due diligence and building out assets means complacency, which complacency is killer. Big time.
Yep, exactly. I think that's really important, guys. It's like, and the thing is, and it amazes me every time this happens, but I think it's just human nature where, I will tell you guys, it's not a matter of if your account gets shut down, it's when. And I see so many people, they don't believe me and they end up having, success in an account, and they're doing, great, and they're making $1,000, blah, 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 maybe more. And they're just cruising along. And, guess what they didn't do? They didn't get other stuff going. They didn't expand out and do what I'm telling you guys right now. And then guess what happens? As Dad says, the Facebook boogeyman comes by and shuts down your account, right? And then you said, oh my gosh, like, what do I do? Like, how do I appeal? You start freaking out, right? Guys, don't let that happen to you. I'm warning you right now. If you have a successful account, great. That doesn't mean you get complacent. That means you start working on others' accounts, get more and more going, right? That's so important, right, Daz?
And I have to say on that, Robbie, I got to say, I'm guilty of it. In the beginning, when I set out, when I took off on this thing, same way. And I got caught up in that, and then boom. And I thought, I will never ever let that happen again. Ever.
Yes. Yep.
So, sometimes guys, like I said, learn by your mistakes. Sometimes I teach. Sometimes the best way to learn, but trust me, I was guilty of it. I did it. I came out and I thought, yeah, this is it. I'm just focusing, and boom, one day, oh my gosh. So, yeah, you always spread it out. Make sure you're always protecting. That's that keeps you a consistent revenue.
Yeah,
definitely.
100%. Yeah, and I see a couple of questions people asking if that means different profiles too. Yeah, it can eventually mean different profiles as well. And so, that's something we talked about where, we talked about it earlier in the 6 Weeks of Success where, you have a different proxy, right? Profile per proxy, and that's where you get set up there. So, yeah. So once again, guys, you're just hedging your bets against things that could happen to you, right? Like if you had this set up here, like we have 3 different business managers, 3 different accounts in each one, like if one business manager goes down, well, you're not completely wiped out, right? Which is really, really important. Whereas if you were here and you have one business manager wiped out, guess what? You're done, right? Same thing with the account. So when we talk about, diversifying and spreading out, that's what we mean there, guys. Okay. So really, really important. Now, the other thing to keep in mind is also, and I kind of touched on this a little bit earlier is, people will say, oh, I want to get more consistent, but, I don't understand. I'm spending $500 a day and I'm just not consistent. Well, how many ad sets is that? Well, I only got 3 ad sets. Well, if you only have 3 ad sets, that means you're spending, less than $175 an ad set, right? So there's really not that much diversity. You're not spread out enough where, yes, you're spending a good amount of money, but the amount that you're spending on each ad set is not that much, right? So, here's a perfect example. Like if your daily budget was $1,000, right? You could have 1 BM, 1 ad account, 6 ad sets, $166 per ad set, right? Or you could have 1 BM, 5 ad accounts, which would be 30 ad sets at $33, right? Or you could have 2 business managers, 10 ad accounts, right? 60 ad sets, and then $15 to $20 per ad set, right? So you can see that you're spending $1,000 either way, but the chances of more consistency and more longevity on your accounts and campaigns are going to be a lot higher because you're not putting all your eggs in one basket, right? And that example can extend to profiles as well. Eventually, more profiles and everything like that, right? And I'll tell you right now, guys, that's literally one of the keys to success. I can tell you most of my most successful campaigns I've ever had. I've always run from a couple profiles, multiple business managers, and multiple accounts. Okay, which is important because if you go and you lose a business manager, not a big deal because they got everything else going, right? So that's what's really cool about that as well. So just remember, guys, when it comes to your budget, that's important, but what you're spending that budget on is also probably even a little bit more important. You want to add anything to that, Des?
Yeah, definitely. It's like you say, your budget. You can't really like slam it out there in a few ad sets. I mean, you need to definitely spread it out. I agree with Robbie. I mean,
yeah,
it's a way better way to approach it, and also with different profiles. Profiles are another animal too with it, right? So you want to always be building assets. I tell people all the time, focus on building assets when the ads are running, because trust me, guys, when you get up and running, your ads are going.
Yeah,
it's really not that difficult when you're running ads. There's not a lot to do when the ads are going. So in the background, you need to be building more assets and building the structure for your business. And always think big, right? Think big. You can't do this out of just one ad account. I mean, it's not going to happen. I mean, you have to build up your assets slowly but surely. Don't come out the gate like a racehorse. Like we're saying, slow is fast on Facebook. So, but just gradually, this is what you're doing. You're getting better, you're getting seasoned, and you're building your accounts. That's the definite way to build a business. It's a business. It's not a set it and forget it thing. It's work. I mean, we still have to work in it as well. But again, there's no business out there that produces the kind of money this business does. Period.
No, there isn't. Yeah, I agree 100%. I think that, and you have to treat like that. I'll tell you, like, I've seen this so many times where students make the mistake of, for example, I remember one student was, they had gotten their account shut down. And then they said, oh, I have one account left. Like, what do I do? Like, what should I run an offer with? And I said, no, listen, like, no, you don't do that. Your focus shouldn't be on running an offer right now. Your focus should be on rebuilding up your assets, right? Because if you're down to your last ad account, I'm telling you right now, you're going to have to redo and rebuild at some point anyways. So why not just take the time and build up your foundation again, right? And then launch stuff, because that's what you have to do, guys, because don't look to that quick buck, because what happens is, if you just try to do one account at a time and you expect long-term success, it's going to be really, really tough, guys. So don't do that. Do what smart people do, the most experienced people do with this system, and get multiple stuff set up, ready to rock. And when you have a winning campaign, don't get complacent. Try to find more stuff, get more stuff built up. So because you can always scale more and more, which is great. So just something to keep in mind there, guys. Okay. And yeah, as I mentioned, guys, having more ad sets at lower budgets can typically lead to higher level of consistency in the long term, just because you're not having to worry about shutdowns or getting completely wiped out or stuff like that, which is really important stuff for sure, which is great, right? How to use data to scale, right? How to use data to scale. So, really important here. And this is something that, we can definitely kind of jam on a little bit here, Daz, but never under any circumstance should you use anything other than data to decide whether to scale up your ads or not. Okay. I think that's a big one, right? Because
Yes.
yeah, oh my gosh, I see so many people that they get so emotional, and they'll ask me the question, and usually the question is, Robbie, do you think I should scale this up? And my response is, well, if you're asking the question, the answer is probably no, because
Yeah. You would know. You would
yeah,
know, guys.
you would know 100%. Exactly. Like your data will literally be screaming at you to scale up the campaign. Okay.
Yeah, screaming. I agree, because I got to say it right now. When you're on a winning combination, on an offer that converts, okay, and everything's right, it's actually, believe it or not, it's really simple to scale, because it's screaming at you to scale.
Yeah.
Okay? When the combination is not correct and it's not there, and you're trying to force it, it's a bloodbath.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just saying, I get this all the time.
Yep. 100%.
You can tell when to scale, because you have so many options to scale. It becomes like, oh my gosh, I can launch so many more ad sets right now, because it's just crazy. I go, that's the way it's supposed to be.
Yep. 100%. Yeah. I think that's so important, you guys. And so, the thing is, like, it's one of those things, guys, where you can't be proactive with your decisions, right? So, which is very different than most business models, right? So remember, you have to wait for the data to come in first, and then you have to react to that data. Okay. You can't be proactive and make decisions before the data comes in. Okay. So really, really important to remember that, guys. And that's going to save you a lot of headache, a lot of hassle, because I can't tell you how many times I've talked to students that, they were like, oh my gosh, I wish I didn't touch that. Or, they started tinkering on an ad for a while and they just ruined it, right? It went out of whack, it won't come back. And it's just not good, right? And so really important, guys. Remember, don't make any other decisions unless it's around data for sure, okay? So, there's a couple of principles and stuff we talked about, but really the biggest mistake that people make when it comes to scaling ads, I think, is that they stop testing, okay? Stop testing.
AKA complacency.
Yes, exactly. Like, I think that's something that's really, really, really important, guys, to remember, is that you need to always be testing. Like, you're never too successful enough to stop testing, right? You have to keep on doing it, because, I'll tell you, not all campaigns are going to last forever. No campaign lasts forever. So it's really important that you remember that, and you make sure that you take whatever winners you have when you're scaling and try to beat them. Try to find more different versions or variations of it that beat that control. Okay. And that can be anything. That can be your images, your headline, your copy. It could be your landing page, it could be the colors. It could be offers sometimes. I mean, it really depends. But whatever you do, guys, always keep testing. And you'll be shocked. I mean, there's a lot of times where, I hit some pretty big home runs with my campaigns. And in my head, I'm like, there's no way I can beat this. And, but I kept testing. And sure enough, there'd be a couple of times where I'd test a different image or angle, and it would blow the other one out of the water, right? And I thought I was doing good, but then after this one, I'm like, man, I'm doing more good. And so it really, and it wouldn't have happened. It wouldn't have happened if I had just been complacent and stopped testing, right? So really important. And I think that I'm sure dads, you see that too with a lot of students that they don't test enough, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. They're on a roll and they're scaling like crazy. And then all of a sudden, the ROI is dropping down. I go, well, were you scaling other stuff? Are you always trying to beat the winning ad?
Yeah.
Because that's really the key, right? So complacency, which I could say complacency also is AKA laziness.
Yeah.
Is you just start focusing on launching ad sets.
Yep.
Trust me, it's hard to pull yourself back and say, hey, I want to try a new image. I want to do this. I want to do that. But I guarantee you, if you don't, not only will your campaign start to drop, but you're going to get what we call ad fatigue, right? So ad fatigue is, imagine if you're scaling all over the place, all of a sudden everybody's seeing it. And plus, remember, people are using spy tools and different things like that. People are ripping your ideas and your angles. So you got to stay ahead of the crowd.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, you gotta do that. You gotta keep that in mind. And also too, like just, another kind of along the same way here, guys, like even just testing, new scaling strategies and trying something different, right? Can be just as important as new copy, creative, and audiences, right? And what I mean by that is you may say, you know what, geez, I'm going to duplicate at a higher ad set budget. I might duplicate at, $100 and see if it works, right? Or maybe I'm going to duplicate at $10 and do a bunch of them and see if that works, right? So don't get like, don't get rigid in your techniques either, guys. Like be kind of fluid in how you test things out, because, some of my best stuff I've ever had has been just kind of like, just because I was like, oh, let's just test it and see. And it ended up working really, really well. So that's something to kind of keep in mind. I mean, Daz, do you have any stories or anything of like something random you tested or whatever that really worked for you?
Oh, I've tried, I've accidentally done stuff and I didn't even mean to. I turn around and I look at it and I go, what's going on with that? I said, oh, wow. Just an accidental test that I didn't even mean to do, right?
Yeah.
It pays off and you start saying, wow. But I normally always teach students all the time is don't be, a one-trick pony. Don't be a one-trick pony, which is a perfect example. When you get something going, yeah, it's okay to be disciplined and run your business, but, think outside the box. Try something. Just, you have an idea, test it. Like, what do we say? Like the 80-20 rule,
Yep.
20% testing, right? 20% testing, always. Throw some new landers out. Try new this. Try new placement. Try a new, give it anything you want to do. Just try it, test it. But there is times when I thought, oh, this is it. It's the only way to go. And then, hey, you know what? I'm going to try on a particular interest. I'm going to try, I always say turn it off, but, expansion. I'm going to expand one and try it. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden it kicked off only on this one interest. Yep. And I found the pocket and then I dominated the pocket.
Yep.
That's all there was to it. But it's crazy.
It is crazy. And I remember like, a long time ago, one of the things that, one of the crazy things I tried was, I had a pixel that had tons of data on it. And at the time I would target lookalike audiences and, the normal stuff. And then I think I read somewhere that just like on a forum, a Facebook forum where you could, someone said that they were targeting worldwide. And I remember just being like, well, how do you target worldwide? And they're like, well, you just type in worldwide. And so I'm like, holy crap, like, let me try that. Like, I've never tested worldwide. And it just took off. And I think a lot of it had to do with the Pixel had tons of purchases on it. But that right there was just like, why not try it? Why not throw a couple, $100 at it and see if it works, right? Like, I'm in this to, I think that's where that's where the gold is, right? Is not, being so rigid, not being so like, stingy sometimes. I think it's just like, hey, I'm going to just, test this and if it works, awesome. Because if it does work, I'm going to be doing something that nobody else is doing, and I'll be making more money than anybody else is making because I'm willing to take those chances, right? And so that's definitely a really, really important one there for sure.
It's like you say on that. I think that one mistake I did on that one ad set, as you're saying, I'm kind of laughing to myself. I go, you know what it was? I was doing interest targeting, and I labeled the interest in the top of the ad set. This is just watching so many ad sets.
Yeah.
And turns out I didn't pick the interest in the targeted. Yeah. So what I did, it was like wide open to top 5. and this thing's killing it. And I'm thinking, what? Wow, this interest is a great interest. I'm looking,
Yep.
and I'm thinking, I didn't even have the interest in there. The Pixel was seasoned, so the Pixel just found all the buyers.
Yep. That's
You
amazing.
know, and I duplicated and duplicated and duplicated again, and you just scale out on this kind of. For me, it was an accident, you know, but
Yeah.
it paid off. So it opens you up. You think, okay, so try something. Every now and again, you got to seasoned Pixel, just boom, try USA.
Yep.
You know, you're good to go.
Yeah, exactly. And that's it. You know, just little things like that make a big difference, guys. And so don't be afraid of doing that. And you know, a lot of my, you know, some of our most successful campaigns have come that way from unconventional scaling techniques and
Some mistakes, I agree.
Yeah.
Some mistakes.
yeah, some mistakes, some don't work, but you know, that's the cool thing about it, guys. Like, don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to do something wrong and it doesn't work, because you know, I think it's through those mistakes where you find the good stuff, right? I think that's super, super important. Okay. So cool. Any questions so far, guys, in terms of scaling? Cool. Okay. Yeah. Good question here. Someone's asking in terms of the front end price of the product. You know, usually I say, you know, you want to spend between 1.5 to 2 times the front end price. And they're asking, what do you do if it's like a supplement that has like, you know, 1 month, 3 months, 6 months supply? Which one do you go off of? Honestly, I personally go off of like the one bottle price. So say the bottle is $50. That's what I would go off of. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little different when it comes to the supplements. You know, from back in the day on digital products was a little different. And
yeah, digital is a little bit different for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what I would say, guys, on that. I think that you know, it's not an exact science, right? So, you know, maybe you go, you know, 1.5, maybe you go one time, and it's just not quite, it's not quite what you want to do. So that's fine. I mean, you can definitely go and make adjustments off that, guys. Not a big deal. So let's see here. Good question. Someone's asking like what Daz's favorite scaling strategy is.
My favorite scaling strategy for me personally is duplication. I don't know what Robbie says, but I mean, mine's duplication. I'm looking for signals on an ad set that, let's say, you know, in the first 48 hours of running, 3+ sales on it. If I'm getting a lot of sales on an ad set, I kind of feel like it's in a hot spot. I'll let it go, and then I will duplicate it. So I believe I'm a big scaler as far as duplication goes. I mean, vertical scaling is when you increase the ad set budget per day. You know, you can increase the budget. It's okay to do that. Everybody has their own style.
Yeah.
But I believe in, I don't know what Robbie's thoughts are on this, but I like to increase the budget on my duplication to test different size budgets.
Yeah.
To see if I really am somewhere where there's, you know, a chance to really make a move.
Yeah. Yep. I agree. And for me, it's starting with 6 to 8 ad sets, and then going to that point where, you know, I'm able to duplicate out my winners and basically just rinse and repeat, duplicate is what I do. And that's how I'm able to, you know, kind of have my success, which is, you know, that's worked for me for years and years. So just something to really, you know, kind of keep in mind. And the thing is, like, there's no wrong way to scale either, guys. Like, there's a lot of different ways. Dad may scale a different way. I may scale a different way sometimes. And that's okay. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that at all. So, you know, definitely something to keep in mind there. Let's see what else we got for questions, guys. Let me see what else we got for questions. Let me see here. I'm just trying to go through the chat here. Let's see. People are asking if they can, what the link is for Commently. Yeah. So guys, a link right here. Just I'll give you homework too while we're at it. So remember, we talked about the different scaling ways, scaling strategies, testing. So if you have some winners, go ahead and scale them up, get them going, get them ready to rock. Also, you know, if you haven't signed up for Commently yet, here it is. You can get a 14-day trial by going to that link right there, commently.com/Robbie. And you guys can get started and get ready to rock and roll, which is going to be awesome, right? So just go to commently.com/Robbie to get that 14-day trial. And like I said, you know, I showed you guys, and I'll show you once again. I mean, look how beautiful this thing is. It really is like just beautiful, right? So, and the cool thing is they have some awesome stuff. They have a dark mode. They're releasing really soon here. They got all kinds of stuff. It's just a really, really cool thing to.
They actually, Robbie, they're on top of that too. Grant and Matt, they're coming out, bringing out the. There's going to be a mobile app coming with it.
Yep.
They're coming with a mobile app, guys. So now you're going to have the mobile app on there. There's a
Yeah.
lot of deals coming with this. It's amazing what they're doing. I mean, I think it's phenomenal.
Yeah, I think it's really really incredible. I think that's really, really incredible because the mobile app is huge because one thing that always frustrated me with most of these softwares and stuff around with what we do in affiliate marketing is the fact that that you have to wait till you're on your desktop to do anything with them. And I think that
Yeah,
we're so on the go now, and like part of being an affiliate is like having that freedom to travel and do what you want to do. And you can't do that if you have to go to your desktop all the time or your laptop, right? So being able to take a quick look on your phone is huge. So yeah, definitely a really nice thing there as well. And so that's that right there, guys, for Commonly. And then also, once again, this will be the last time I talk about it today. But if you guys are interested in getting extra help when it comes to launching your campaigns or even, scaling your campaigns, optimizing your campaigns, getting your Commonly account set up or whatever, hey, this is a great opportunity to get a personal coach to help you along the way, which will be great, right? So really important to kind of keep that in mind, guys, because having a coach that can be with you on every step of the way is so important. And so really, really cool to do that, guys. And so we've had a lot of people already jump in and do that. Once again, like just so you know, this is available to you. There's no pressure for you to have to do it. We're not going to say there's 50 spots or anything like that, but if there is a wait list, it's just because all of our coaches spots are filled up, right? And so the feedback has been awesome. I've said this many times already. I'll say it again. But and Daz, anything you want to add to that as well?
Yeah, like I say, I mean, all the coaching, all my coaches that are under me that do this deal, we make sure they're in the trenches, they're in there. We go back and forth. We go back and forth on different techniques between ourselves. So we're always up to date. As you know, Facebook is an evolving platform.
Yeah.
Right. That's the internet in general. So it evolves. Like you guys are saying, like, oh my gosh, we had to go back to the whip and figure out, the conversion API. We had to go through all that. So we're always going back and forth, and we're always doing new techniques. And when you say about testing, we're always testing.
Yeah.
So we're testing different ways to scale,
Yep.
what's working, what's not working. So that's the kind of the cool thing when you are with the coaches too. We're in the trench and we're doing it, and we're we're in the battle with you, and we love it, and that's why we do it, really. And
Yep.
there's nothing better than teaching you guys to do it too. We love it. I do anyway, personally.
Yep. Absolutely. I think that's super important there. So guys, yeah, I'll pop that link in the chat for you guys so you have that as well. And then let's see if there's any other questions here. We'll answer a couple more Q&As, and then we'll go ahead and wrap it up here for the end of the 6 weeks. So let's see here. Yeah, people are asking, where do we go from here? Good question. Yeah, so really just continue to launch your campaigns, optimize, and you have the Facebook group to ask questions and get help from myself and all the other students and coaches. And as you know, the Facebook group is super active, so make sure you guys are in there and just asking questions and really do that, because that's use that resource, because it's a very, very valuable resource and really important. And then let's see here. People are asking how much Commonly is after the 14-day trial. We have a couple different options there, guys. Just, obviously it'll be right on that link there. So you can see there's, there's the 14-day trial for the different ones you can choose from. There's also an annual plan as well. So some people like to pay the annual plan and save some money in the long run. So you can do that as well, which is good. Let's see what else we got here. Let me see. Any questions you see, Daz, you want to answer as well? I don't know if there's.
Well, when it comes to Commonly, on the biggest deal that I've seen with it realistically is that, as you know, we're talking about horizontal scaling here. So when Robbie showed you different business managers, different ad accounts, better to spread it across different assets, right? That's real key to consistent revenue, is to spread it across different assets. Now, the one cool thing with Commonly is, you got to imagine we did a one setup for you guys. We did the setup in week 3. We showed you how to set up a domain and conversion API and all the other stuff, right?
Yep.
So the cool thing is with Facebook is all of the domain names that we use on different accounts and different VMs need to be verified, need to be set up. And Commonly has the ability for you to put all of those into Commonly and configure all of those in, and the videos that Matt and Grant put together for how to set it up are about as simple can be. But it's such a robust platform that you're able to run multiple BMs through this platform with different API tokens and domains and everything, which means you get all the data as big as you want to go. That's some of the stuff that the newer guys don't really realize, but when you see on a bigger scale, you need to be organized, guys, and this keeps you organized. That's really what it's all about.
Oh yeah, that's what it's all about. It's really really important, guys. And so, and the thing is too, I think, is just the fact that it eliminates needless mistakes. I think is also a big thing with Commonly, right? Like, you know, there's been a lot of times where I would just be tired, or maybe I just would get sick of putting numbers into spreadsheets, and I would just get lazy.
Oh, yeah.
And guess what happens? Like, you let an ad set run too long, right? And you're like, oh my God, like I wasted $500 on that ad set, right? So so that's.
And you should have killed it. And I agree, you should have killed it, and you just kind of got sidetracked. You couldn't get to it. You didn't have time to put all the data together. And sometimes, honestly, and I hate to say this because, I mean, I'm like Robbie. I'm not super technical. I just do my deal. I'm not like the biggest tech whiz you could ever imagine in your life. I mean, I'm an ex-contractor, guys. I was swinging hammers and building stuff. So for me, it's, I would just, at times, I felt like I would rather take my own eyes out than fill out that spreadsheet. Right.
I know.
So this thing got rid of it, which was great. I mean, I think it's phenomenal. I get all my data in one place. Nice.
Yeah, it's great. And I think the other point too that I even forgot is, like, you know, there's times where I've been using Commonly now where, you know, I would see, like, in Facebook, it would show the purchases are giving credit to one ad set. But then I go in Commonly and I realize that it was not that ad set at all, or maybe that ad set had more purchases than it's reporting. So so it was just like, I'm like, oh my gosh, like if I didn't have Commonly, I would have turned that off. And you know, and so that's something that's you know, pretty interesting there. So
I've done that. I'm guilty of that.
Yeah,
I mean, I've done that. I've gone in there and I've said, I'm duplicating this ad set. It's got all these sales, and I'm looking at it now after the fight. You're like, oh my gosh, I didn't even get sales.
Yeah, it's crazy. So it's interesting, you know, but cool. Well, I think we're getting towards the end here, guys. I think we're going to wrap it up. I know that, you know, Dad's got a busy day and I got some stuff we got to get going on, but yeah, what a great 6 weeks it's been, guys. Thank you so much for sticking with us for the full 6 weeks. Hopefully, has it been valuable, guys? Let me know in the chat if it's been valuable for everybody here in the chat. I'm always curious to see if we over delivered and gave you enough value here. Okay, cool. All right. Yeah. I see Leffinson. Yes. Love it. They want to do another 6 weeks. Yeah. Well, hey, you know, we always update these from time to time. So, you know, be on the lookout for that. So, which is important because even, you know, me and Daz were talking about this earlier before we started the training, and we're just like, we want to always deliver the information that's working right now for you. And that's important. We don't want to teach you stuff that used to work. We want to keep on teaching you stuff that is working, right? So that's
and definitely, like you said, because the platform is an evolving platform, obviously we have to revisit it and go through some of the updates that have come out. So I feel better about this. And when Robbie approached me, I was like, wow, it's an honor to be able to do it again.
Yeah.
You remember last time we did it, and, you know, that was a while back.
Yeah.
So now we're doing it again and bringing you guys up to snuff. So you can see that we're on it every day. We've been doing it for a long time. It works. That's why we're still here. It constantly works, and they change and evolve on the platform, and we change and evolve with it. So that's why we did this.
Yep, absolutely. No, that's good stuff. Cool. Yeah, I guess we can call it a day here. So any last minute words, Daz, before we wrap up the training?
You know, guys, I mean, we've given you everything you really need to do now. I mean, it's really down to you guys. I really hope that you did go through the homework and you got to where we were and you launched the ads, which, you know, it's right there. Now, if you didn't, don't feel all bummed out and confused and everything else like that. Everybody goes at their own pace. And there's different options to you. We have the coaching option. We have the, you know, one of myself or my team will take care of you and walk you through it and get you where you got to be. Yep. But as you can see, it's a great program that we put together here. It works. You can tell by how many people are in the Facebook group.
Yep.
And all you got to do is just take action and get results. That's all I can say.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Yeah. I agree. So, guys, make sure you just take what you learned here, apply it. If you have to go back and rewatch stuff, you can. Remember, they are going to be in the guidance section for you and as a resource. And obviously, if you have questions, you can post in the group. But once again, I really appreciate everybody being on here for these 6 weeks and sticking with it and making it happen. Really, really appreciate it, guys. I know it's going to pay off big time for you because the last time we did this 6-week live, people really, really loved it and were able to have a lot of success. And I know you guys will as well. So, guys, thank you so much for being on. Big thank you for Daz for being with me all these weeks and sticking with me on the training here. I know everybody loves having Coach Daz on here as well, and so do I. And I appreciate everybody being on here as well. And that's it, guys. So we'll go ahead and wrap it up. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Keep crushing, keep working hard, guys. Your success is there as long as you go out and take action. And that's it for me. That's it for Daz. And we'll talk to you guys soon.
All right, guys. See you later.